Hello, everyone. I chose James Brown, artist, leader, icon, as my artifact. I was really conflicted between writing on the current phenomenon Kendrick Lamar when I was reminded that James Brown told us they not like us generations ago. I will touch on his musical influence on culture, his impact through activism in major political movements in our nation, and the legacy that still reverberates through the artistic landscape of today. James Brown not only created music, but he also created dances to go with the songs. Every tribe has dances, songs, and chants that are unique to the tribe. James Brown was unique in that he had a hit single to answer every turmoil we went through in the 60s and 70s. America is My Home was a rap song that encouraged patriotism during the Vietnam War. King Heroin was a rap song that addressed drug epidemic. And Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud drew tribes of Black communities together during the race riots of the 60s. Brown supported Richard Nixon after being invited to perform at Nixon's inaugural ball in 1961. On April 5th, 1968, the day after the assassination of Martin Luther King in Memphis, Tennessee, Brown provided a free citywide televised concert at the Boston Garden to maintain public order and calm concerned Boston residents over the objections of the police chief who wanted to call off the concert, which he thought would incite violence. The show was later released on a DVD as Live at the Boston Gardens in April 5th, 1968. According to the documentary, the James Brown night, the night James Brown saved Boston, then Kevin White had strongly restrained the Boston police from cracking down on minor violence and protests after the assassination, while religious and community leaders worked to keep tempers from flaring. There was a conspiracy theory after the concert that the FBI and CIA kept a close watch on Brown. And as mentioned in the biopic, Get On Up, a man who has the power to stop a riot also has the influence to start one. Brown had an impact on the recording industry, movies, dance, politics, education, and humanitarianism. The funk lives on through Prince, Michael Jackson, Bootsy Collins, Usher, Mick Jagger, and Kendrick Lamar. Though mired with sexual abuse accusations, drug charges, tax problems, and a high-speed police car chase, James Brown's musical legacy is a tremendous influence on the genres, and artists that followed in his footsteps are absolutely incredible. There are also allegations of sexual abuse and domestic violence, which remained well hidden in this beautifully flawed man who claimed to have a relationship with God. Becoming a leading voice in the Black community during the turbulent racial times, he was affectionately known as the Godfather of Soul. He used his platform as a performer to promote social change and political activism. As we take a look at the worldviews that we examined in our textbooks, I come across a section in Hidden Worldview which talks about tribalism. An enslaved Hebrew people struggling to get out of bondage to the promised land is comparable to Black people in America that were promised 40 acres and a mule upon emancipation. As we examine the Exodus story in Scripture, a tribe that perceives itself as disempowered, such as the African Americans, may read the Exodus story in Scripture as a hopeful vision of something yet to come for them. Rather than anticipating a spiritualized liberation from the immaterial powers of sin, The Exodus narrative is interpreted as liberation from economic, political, and social slavery. James Brown's influence was acknowledged and respected from the White House to the poorhouse. The poor Negro boy from the backwoods of South Carolina to millionaire superstar, as an affluential leader of Black people, but careful not to alienate white people. He evolved through race riots, civil unrest, and the disco era. The disco era seemed to be the downfall of his musical career. However, the drum beat and the bass kicks of his music are the most sampled among young rappers today, including Kendrick Lamar. James Brown was the first to pack stadiums long before Michael Jackson, and those who continued to admire his music and were influenced by him. George Barna, think like Jesus. Our question 4 brings us to, what is the nature and purpose of humanity? Loving humankind. The reason we are to love them is not to promote global peace or international unity. It is to honor that which is important to God. Just as we want to be loved and accepted by people, we are also to love and accept them. Thank you for listening.